Students, today the 11th portion discussing the topic is commonly called as transport in plants. In transport in plants, today which topic is going to discuss about commonly called as mechanism of water absorption. First of all, before the entry of the mechanism of water absorption, who are first recognized the water absorption, the greatest scientist is commonly called as the eminent scientist recognized the water absorption is commonly called as the greatest scientist commonly called as Kramer in the era of 1949. He was the first person to give a report about absorption in the plants. The Kramer in the era of 1949, he recognized two distinct types of absorption, that's namely called as active absorption then second one, passive absorption. The active absorption and the passive absorption, which are independently operate. What do you mean like this? The active absorption and the passive absorption, which are independently operate by uptake of water and mineral salts from soil water. Now I am going to discuss about the first topic is commonly called as active absorption. So what is the meaning of active absorption? So here, the mechanism of active absorption, we need some force for uptake of water. What do you mean like this? The active absorption for uptake of water and mineral salt, we need some force. The force is generated by root itself. Based on the generation by roots itself, active absorption can be classified as two types, namely osmotic active absorption likewise second one, non-osmotic active absorption. Now we are going to discuss about the first one is commonly called as osmotic active absorption. Osmotic active absorption who are postulated by Atkins in the year of 1916, as well as firstly when the year of 1939. What those two scientists to postulated by osmotic active theory is commonly called as the first steps of absorption of water from soil water. Do you know that structural view of root hair cell? This is the outermost layer of root, namely called as rhizodermis. The rhizodermis, which gives as extension of component, is commonly called as root hair. So now come to the point. In osmotic active absorption, the first steps of absorptions of water. This is the soil. Is containing water. These are commonly called as soil water. From soil water is imbibed, or imbibition takes place the root hair cells. What is the meaning of imbibition? That means the movement of molecule from higher concentration to the lower concentration. So in outer surface, the water molecule concentration is so high. From that, the water molecule enter into the root system through root hair cells. So the water molecule is imbibed root hair cells. After imbibed, the root hair cell, it's following the process commonly called as osmosis. So what is the osmosis? The movement of molecule from higher concentration to lower concentration through semi-permeable membrane. There is the only differences is occur in the osmosis. So what I am saying, surface of or outer root hair cell is contain number of water molecules are there. That water molecule is imbibed root hair cells. That cell is entered to regarding what inner to the root. So that condition to be here in the situation, outer water molecule is possessed regarding what? Hypertonic. Outer molecule is commonly called as hypotonic solution. Inner to the sap is commonly called as hypertonic condition. So outer to the soil water is hypertonic. Inner to the sap is commonly called as hypertonic. When the water molecule outside the root hair cell is gradually diffuse is entered to root hair cell. When the water molecule entered to the sap, the inner to the sap after hypertonic solution it can be changed to hypotonic solution. You know what is the meaning of hypertonic solution and hypertonic solution? Hypotonic means low water potential, high solute potential. Hypertonic is commonly called as high water potential, low solute potential. So what I am said to be commonly called as, from outside the water molecule diffuse, entered into the sap is become hypertonic solution. When is a happen hypertonic, that time from that water it is entered to the cortical cells. So which cortical cell the water molecule is diffused entered to the plant system is commonly called as outer cortical cells. Is commonly called as outer cortical cells. So that finally the water molecule it's move into inner cortical cells. After each of inner cortical cell, the water molecule it's reach in the innermost layer of cortex is commonly called as endodermis. So endodermis is nothing but innermost layer of cortex. So the water molecule, later that inner cortical cell, it is reaching innermost layer of cortical cell is commonly called as endodermis. The endodermal cells is usually barrel-shaped parenchyma cells. Here, in opposite to the protocelum, the endodermal cells are thin-walled. Why? Because due to absence of Caspary stripes. So the Caspary stripes which are present other than the protocelum. So this is protocelum. This is metacelum. Between the xylem and endodermis, one of the thin layer is present. This is commonly called as pericycle. So what I am saying, from root guard cell, water molecule diffuse, enter into the cell sap. The cell sap become hypertonic. When is happen to hypertonic? That water molecule osmotically it can move to inner cortical cell. Such a same way, the water molecule is moved to inner cortical cell. Such a same way, the water molecule became it can enter to endodermis is only in opposite to the protocelum around, because other than the protocelum, the endodermal cells are contain Caspary stripes are there. Due to presence of the Caspary stripes, other than the passage cell, other than the Caspary stripe, cannot be allowed water enter to them. So what I like to say, from that inner cortical cell, the water molecule enter into regarding protocelum. When the water molecule reach in the protoxylem, that time the protoxylem they can be created one of the pressure, that pressure is commonly called as root pressure. What way active absorption, what type of way it can be take up water is a commonly called as simplest movements. So the water is uptaken through the which pathway is commonly called as simplest movement pathway. So what is the meaning of simplest pathway? Because that's can already discussing. So now I want once again to be clarified that simplest movement. What is the simplest movement is commonly called as? Once the root hair absorb water and mineral salt, the absorbed water and mineral salts it is entered to the plant system through root hair cell to adjacent cell. From that one cell, that water molecule is entered to next adjacent cell, then move to next adjacent cell through plasmodesmata. That is commonly called a simplest way of movement. So, osmotic active absorption, the movement of water which takes place through simplest movements. Next one I am going to discuss about what are the objection to osmotic theory. So based on the osmotic theory is going to some objection. First one, root pressure is not uniform in all the plants. In addition, trees. This is the first objection that means called that root pressure is not uniform, it's not universal in all kinds of plants, especially the trees. The second objection is commonly called as sap concentration is not always high. Sometimes it happens to some fluctuations also appear. But according to the theory, we say sap concentration is not always high. Those two is going to regarding what? Objection to osmotic theory. Then I go to the next one is commonly called as non-osmotic active absorption. Who are postulated or propounded that non-osmotic active theory or non-osmotic active absorption. The first one is commonly called as Bernard Clark in the year of 1936. Second one, Kramer in the year of 1959. Third one, the man in the year of 1951. Those three scientists are postulated about non-osmotic active absorption. What is the meaning or what is the definitions of non-osmotic active absorption mean? the absorption of water, even the concentration of sap is lower than the soil water. Do you know, I'm already draw the structure. Input to the root hair cell is commonly called as containing high concentration. That a time is a require uptake of water and mineral salt takes place. What is given that non-osmotic active absorption means the absorption of water, even the concentration of sap is lower in the root hair cell than soil water. So it is uptake of water molecule mean that kinds of regarding theory, it need some expenditure of energy. That energy is given by the greatest progress commonly called as respiration. So here the movement of energy, it must be require some energy. That energy is given by the process commonly called as respiration. So what type of energy is given by that process commonly called as ATP? So what is that abbreviations of ATP means? Adenosine triphosphate. That is the energy component that is obtained through the process of respiration. So in non-osmotic active absorption, it needs that energy is given by, or that energy is regulated by, or that energy is produced by the progress commonly called as respiration. So what type of energy can be given is commonly called as ATP. What are the abbreviations of ATP is commonly called as adenosine triphosphate. So in that theory, it happens some link reaction. What type of link reaction it must be occurring commonly called as respiration. It is linked to water absorption. One of the facts, one of the realities, they can be applicable to be here. Some of the respiratory inhibitor they can apply on the plants. When the applications of respiratory inhibitors, when it can be applied on the plants, mean usually that substances is reduce the rate of respiration. Okay. What is that respiratory substance? It is generally utilized to reduce the rate of respiration. One is the commonly called as KCN. The second one is commonly called as chloroform. Those two is commonly called as respiratory inhibitors. Thus two it can apply on the leaves. The substance it responsible for reduce the rate of respiration, but increase the rate of absorption. That's why the plant it can be uptake more amount of water when by the applications of respiratory inhibitor, namely called as KCN and chloroform. What are the abbreviations of KCN? Potassium cyanide. The next one going to discuss about passive absorption. For the observation or absorption, no need to energy. In addition, the root cannot be given as any force, but usually is moved to water. For passive absorption, there is no involving root and root cells. But what way there can be absorption it can takes place? Root cannot play as any role. So which is play as an important role is commonly called as transpiration is a play as an important role. Play as a vital role. How? That is important characteristic feature because when the exposure of sunlight so due to exposure of sunlight on the leaves, all the water molecule is going to evaporate. That is denoted as transpiration. So transpiration is nothing but loss of water in the form of water vapor through aerial parts of the plant body. So when the exposure of sunlight, how much amount of water molecule which are present on the surface of leaves, each and every water molecule is evaporate. That time, the leaf cells is a decrease turgor pressure. When the evaporator takes place, the leaf cell, that time it happened to create decrease the turgor pressure as well as increase DPT. What is DPT? Diffusion pressure deficit. So, decrease the turgor pressure as well as increase DPT in the leaf cell. When increase the DPT in the leaf cell, that time some tension is created inner to the leaf cell. So that increase the DPT in the leaf cell, the xylem element from the adjacent cell, it can absorb some amount of water. When the tension is created in the xylem cell, it can be withdrawn or uptake water from adjacent cell. The time the tension is developed in the xylem cell. That tension, it can move downwards up to the root hair cell. That's why the root and root hair cell, with the help of tension, is uptake of water and mineral salt takes place. That is commonly called as passive absorption. So no need to any energy. For here, what are the type of movement it's generally applicable to uptake of water and mineral salt? So active absorption, it can uptake water and mineral salt is only that simplest movement. But passive absorption, it can uptake water and mineral salt, both apoplast movement and the simplest movement. So the water molecule, it can be moved outer surface of membrane as well as cell wall and the dead particles of xylem and tracheids. What is simplest movement? The water molecule, it can be moved cell to cell through plasmodesmate. So passive absorption, it must be moved both the way. Movement of water in an osmotic system. It's happen both pure water and salt water. What are the way that are responsible for happen in the movements? First of all, zero or low solute concentration. High water potential. Is generally is a zero. The time the movement takes place from pure water to salt water. That what condition is they can be applicable to in salt water? Low water potential and high solute concentration. The first things. Second thing, high solvent concentration. Low dBT. But in salt water, high dBT and low solute concentration, low solvent concentration. Is the second thing. Third thing is generally hypotonic solution or hypotonic condition. Low osmotic pressure. But here, hypertonic condition, high osmotic pressure, then fourth one, high osmotic potential, here low osmotic potential. This is the parameter for movement of water in osmotic system. Hi students, today discussing the topic is mechanism of absorption of water. In the chapter they can be discussed about active absorption and the passive absorption. What are the parameters for occur in osmotic system? That is I have concluded today. Next class we can start about what is the difference between active absorption and the passive absorption. Thank you.